about is something that's really been on my mind recently. And it's a simple scripture that I wanted to share with you all. It's actually in the book of Ecclesiastes. Let me find it. All right. So this is an amazing scripture that I wanted to share with you that I think is super helpful, especially for us as designers, creatives. Um, it's quite powerful scripture. I'll show it with you. So it says, whatever you do, do well. For when you go to the grave, there will be no work or planning or knowledge or wisdom. But I like the real beginning of it. It says, whatever you do, do well. It words it another way in the New King James. It says, whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might. For there is no work or device or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you are going. Some may feel like the end is a bit morbid, like, oh yeah, we know we're gonna die, kind of thing. Ugh. But the key thing I want you to understand here is just like whatever your hands you find to do, do it with all your might. So it's like I really wanted to share this with you because even though I've been a designer for over 12 years now, and even though I've been a designer for over 12 years, one of the key things that I'm loving is like, how can I be more accountable to myself? And like even tonight, I was watching a video from one of my mentors, and I just got to big him up, Mr. Anton Daniels. I kind of see him as one of my online mentors, even though we've never met. I watch his content, very inspirational guy. One of the key things I love with what he speaks about is like really working hard, really striving to be the best, really working on the things that you think are going to be very, very important for you. So I wanted to share this video with you quickly, and just give my raw thoughts on it. This is by a business owner, Leila, which some of you may have seen online. She's the wife of a gentleman called Alex Hormozy, but man, she stands so tall on her own, and then as a couple together, I really appreciate what they're putting out into the world to help businesses grow. So let's just hear this together, and then we're just going to jump straight in.
Accountability. Who here has accountability in their business? Is that part of the service you offer? Yep. Wonderful. So what is accountability? Let's define it for the sake of this conversation or presentation. Accountability is the quality or state of being responsible to one's obligations. Okay, so holding someone accountable means holding them responsible for their actions and results.
All right. So I know she's speaking about it from the standpoint of a CEO, a business person. So that how is it that we as designers can apply wisdom from this? Because also I'm sharing you a biblical scripture here. Whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might. So in the NLT, whatever your hands find to do, do it well. So I love what she's saying here. The first step, or one of the key things that you have to offer from a business owner's perspective, is accountability. But how much should that be for us on an individual level, just to being accountable to our own words first? Like, what is it that we've said we do? And I'm a designer by trade. That's what I do specifically. I love to speak as well, and share my thoughts from stage to help others grow as designers, or I also speak in my church as well. But what you see here is this accountability is the quality or state of being responsible to one's obligations. And for me, this is really helpful, really essential, being responsible to your obligation, to one's obligations, and holding someone accountable. Forget some, holding one, me. How do I hold me more accountable to the things I say I'm going to do? So one of the scriptures that I like to think through when I'm talking about this is Habakkuk 2:4. So Hab 2 verse 4. Let me show you the scripture, Habakkuk 2:4. No, 2 to 4. It's actually verse 2 to 4. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. But at the end it will speak and will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Behold the proud, his soul is not upright with him, but the just shall live by faith. Specifically, I just want to highlight this, and then we're going to go back into the point on accountability. When I'm talking here, is that whenever you have a goal, whenever you have something you want to achieve, you want to write it down. Whenever you say you're going to do something, you want to write it down. Similar to here, write the vision down and make it plain. Write the vision down, write it down, or write the vision. If I read it in the King James, see if I can find it. No, I'll just go to NLT. It's a paraphrase, but it's fine. Write the answer plainly on tables, you know? So like make sure whatever you want to achieve, make it plain. And this is why I want to highlight this point about accountability, because it's very important that you understand that for yourself. Let me continue.
As a person who manages people, it is your job to let people know, let your direct reports know, let your team know how they are doing in relation to how they are expected to be doing. So when people are like, how do I hold people accountable? I'm like, oh my God, it's this. Like, how are you doing versus like, how are you supposed to be doing, right?
And this is, for me, why I like this as well, because I'm also a lead designer. I manage people. So I realized that for me, leadership fundamentally is about service, but I actually manage from the mindset of a leader on a personal note. So I love this book by John C. Maxwell. I don't know if any of you can see it here. John C. Maxwell. It's called the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. This is a powerful book specifically for anyone that is leading people, managing people. Even if you're young in your career, you definitely want to use something like this. It's a great way to keep your leaders accountable. But specifically, if you're a manager, in my context, a product design manager, this is a fantastic book. It's called The Making of a Manager by Julie Zhao. So I love reading this because this has got some super practical advice from someone who's been a product design manager like myself. So let me just keep continuing in what she's saying here as well.
And it is your job. Now, where I've seen this go wrong in so many cases is that we believe that it is the job of somebody else on the team. There was a time when I thought this was the job for a trainer, for a coach, for a general manager, or a manager. But I realized that is not the case. In fact, it is the #1 job of the CEO and of the founder. Because what you do is you don't delegate accountability. You disseminate it down.
Man, come on. You don't delegate accountability, you disseminate it down. So it's this kind of mindset shift of, you know, you are the person that first has to be the example of what you want to see in your team. You know, it's not just about managing to make sure that what is asked to be delivered gets done, but it's making sure that, okay, how do we exemplify excellence? How do we exemplify high standards? This is something I'm holding myself to. I'm someone that made a mistake this week. I made an agreement that what I had decided to speak about with someone that I respect, when we became in this public forum, I didn't stick to it. I kind of let other people sway my opinions and it went in another direction. And it's one of the ones when I was like, all right, cool. I've got to be more accountable to what I say I'm going to do. So like if I say I'm going to stick to something or say I'm going to do something, to not let the opinions of others just sway me here and there. Because I've seen even in myself where, if I can be just open with you guys, I can see even in myself where there's areas in my character where it's like, okay, that sounds like a strong opinion. I may not know 100% of how I'm going to back it up with full data. So let's just go along with what you said, even if I may not 100% agree, but I'm not too sure how I'm going to disagree in a way that makes sense in the time. But if you've got real strong views and opinions on something, let your views and opinions be known and try your best not to make yourself get swayed by others. Now, some other people are more disagreeable by nature, so that's not even an issue for them. But for someone like myself, where I've seen that aspect in my character that in some areas can work for me, but in other areas it can work against me, it's very good to voice your opinion and speak, especially if you're going to speak about being a leader. To serve people the best, you want them to very clearly know what you want or what you desire. In a respectful manner, you've got to appreciate them, know that they're cared for, but you've got to also give them clarity. And clarity is given through transparency and authenticity as well. Let's just dive deeper into what she's saying here as well.
By holding, whether you have an operations manager, a head of sales, a head coach, whatever it is, those people right below you, you hold them the most accountable so that then it disseminates down from them into the rest of the team. Does that check out? Amazing. There was a
Excellent, man. So that this is an even more powerful statement, you know. So it's like top-down dissemination of accountability. It's like, who should be the most accountable? The CEO. The CEO's level of accountability would then reflect to his senior level, chief level execs. Their level of accountability disseminates to their VPs or senior level management, etc., and so on and so forth. So it's kind of interesting when you think of it like that, that also accountability can highly be tied to the performance of an organization or business. So when I look at it for myself, if I'm a designer within a team, I can't let the accountability or what I'm not seeing from my manager affect how I should work. But also in the same breath, the way that the manager works or some leader in the company works, I should say, more the leaders are working or how they're operating will also impact the way that I'm or we're working in a team as well if we're not careful. So it's something I'm paying
There's a
attention
time
to.
where I thought that if you hire experienced enough people, you don't need to hold them accountable. Well, that's fucking wrong. And it took me 3 years to figure that out, because what I did was that I didn't understand that it's really not CEO, it is Chief Accountability Officer. You are the one that holds the standards for the whole organization, and the way that you do that so that everyone else sees is how you hold your leaders responsible.
Boom. So I'm just gonna leave it there just so you hear that. But like, hear what she's saying there, that Chief Accountability Officer. You know, that for me is something I take on a personal. Like, how do I hold me accountable? I'm the Chief Accountability Officer to the things I say I'm going to do and achieve. I'm the Chief Accountability Officer over what I've been asked or tasked to do. So how can I be more accountable? How can I make that a standard that I strive towards? And how can that be something for me that I'm working forward for as well? So I could go deeper. She got loads of more gems in this presentation. All power to her, respect to her and her husband for even putting this stuff out in the world, because it's so valuable. But just like these soft skills are sometimes the skills as designers that can be overlooked, that we don't pay attention to. Like, as much as Figma's new updates is like really great, you know, big up Figma, all powerful, love getting into the tacticalness of it. But the soft skills are the things that make you more influential in a workplace. As much as you develop the hard skill of going in on Figma, you want to also develop the soft skills of being impactful in the lives of others, your teammates that you surround yourself around. And also, once you start managing people like myself and others, then you want to be even more accountable to the work you deliver, because people fundamentally want to work with great people. They want to work with people that inspire them. They want to work with people they know, like, and trust. Know, like, and trust. They call it the KLT factor, know, like, trust. And people that are really trying to do big things. They've got big vision. They're trying to take us in a certain way, a certain direction as well. So one of the key things I love to do with my team is like have a clear goal or vision that we're trying to go towards. So we might have a mission, which is like, okay, this is what we're trying to achieve in the short term or over a period of time. But the vision is like, okay, you may never even reach the vision, but we're just going to cast it anyway. One of the people I love to, many designers, I should say, are inspired by is Christo at the Future. And I know that one of their, if not one of their, but one of their big vision is 1 billion, right? The Future's mission is to help 1 billion people make a living doing what they love. To join us and you'll receive a permanent number. So I joined it time ago, but I really like this kind of big mission. You know, we're on a mission, 1 billion, boom. It's quite big. Like, whether they reach it or not is not the goal. It's that striving towards this big mission is I find really, really helpful and a good way to think as well. And even if you're a designer within a team, smaller team, don't worry, still cast vision, because vision really helps to align the team and keeps everybody charged towards a bigger goal. But foundationally, underneath all of that is accountability, and which is super helpful. All right.